All right, in this explainer, we're diving deep into the Bible, specifically into Luke chapter 5. We're going to watch a series of incredible encounters where Jesus just systematically turns the rules of power, purity, and community completely upside down.
And really, that's the big question hanging over this whole chapter, isn't it? We're going to see how each event just keeps building on the last, pushing boundaries and completely redefining what everyone thought they knew.
So here's how we're going to break it down. We're going to follow the story through 5 key scenes, and you'll see how the mission just keeps escalating. Let's get into it.
Okay, so our story kicks off at the Lake of Gennesaret. There's this huge crowd pressing in to hear Jesus, so he hops into a fisherman's boat to teach. Now, put yourself in Simon's sandals for a second. You're a pro. You've been fishing all night long and caught absolutely nothing. You're tired, you're cleaning your nets, and then this teacher tells you how to do your job. It's a huge test of faith, but Simon does it just based on Jesus' word. And the result? I mean, it's just insane. This isn't just a lucky catch. This is a net-breaking, boat-sinking, overwhelming miracle. Right off the bat, we're seeing this incredible display of authority over the natural world itself. But get this. Look at Simon's response to this crazy display of power. It's not, wow, let's do that again. It's, go away from me, I'm a sinful man. He's completely undone. In the face of this kind of divine power, he sees himself with stunning, painful clarity. And right on the heels of that, Jesus gives him and his partners a brand new purpose. And their response is just as wild as the miracle. They literally leave everything, their career, their equipment, their massive catch of fish, and just follow him. So, from authority over nature, the story immediately escalates. Now Jesus is going to challenge some of the most deeply held rules about social and religious purity. You have to understand, leprosy back then wasn't just a skin disease. It was a social death sentence. You were considered unclean, a total outcast. And the number one rule? You do not touch a leper, ever. It makes you unclean. And this is where it gets so radical. Jesus doesn't just, feel him from a safe distance. He reaches out and physically touches this untouchable man. But instead of the uncleanness transferring to Jesus, his purity, his power, flows out and makes the man completely whole. He reverses the flow of contamination. Okay, if you thought that was intense, this next scene is where things really, really heat up. This is where the conflict with the religious leaders ignites over Jesus' most jaw-dropping claim yet. So Jesus looks at this paralyzed man and says, "Your sins are forgiven." The religious leaders are freaking out, thinking only God can do that. So Jesus basically says, okay, which is easier to say? To prove I have the unseen authority to forgive sins, watch me perform this visible miracle of healing. It's an unmistakable claim to divine authority, and everybody there knew it. And you can just feel the shockwave in the crowd's reaction. We have seen strange things today. I mean, that's got to be the understatement of the year, right? They knew they were watching something way beyond a normal prophet or healer. So after claiming the authority of God, what's the next logical step? Well, Jesus shows everyone what a community built on that authority actually looks like. And who does he call to be his next disciple? A tax collector named Levi. We got to pause here. Tax collectors weren't just unpopular. They were seen as traitors, sellouts to the Roman government, and they were despised. They were the last person a respectable rabbi would hang out with. And this, of course, sets up this perfect head-on collision of worldviews. The Pharisees ask, why are you eating with those people? Their idea of holiness was all about separation, but Jesus flips it. He says, healthy people don't need a doctor, sick people do. He shows that his mission is about actively moving toward the broken and the outcast to bring healing. So finally, to wrap all this up, Jesus uses a couple of powerful metaphors to explain that what he's doing isn't just some small tweak or reform. It's something brand new. And here it is, the main idea of the entire chapter. What Jesus is bringing isn't just a patch or an update for the old religious system. It's a whole new reality. He's making it crystal clear with these images. You don't sew a new patch on old clothes because it'll shrink and rip an even bigger hole. And you definitely don't pour new fermenting wine into old brittle wineskins. Why? Because the pressure will build and the whole thing will burst. His point is that this new thing he's doing is so dynamic and alive, it requires a completely new container. But then Jesus adds this really sharp, insightful line. He says no one who's used to drinking old wine immediately wants the new, for he says the old is better. He totally gets the powerful human resistance to change, that deep-down preference for what's comfortable and familiar. So let's just pull this all together. The takeaways are pretty clear, right? We've seen this deliberate, escalating claim of authority over nature, over sickness, over sin itself, and over social rules. His mission isn't just to tolerate outcasts, but to build a whole new community around them. And the big one? He's not here to fix an old system. He's here to launch something completely new.
And that leaves us with this really challenging question. The old way is always comfortable, isn't it? But this chapter forces us to ask what amazing things might just burst forth when the new wine finally comes. It's a question not just for them, but for us too. Thanks for watching.